What's good, my G's? It's your boy Snow, Ignorant Gamers in the house. How you doing? How you living? How you gaming? If you don't already know, G stands for Gamerz. Welcome to the channel for the first time if you're here because of the headline, and if you are already subscribed, you already know. Hashtag IGZ up. What up? Listen, one quick note about this video. This is a long video. I have a 10-minute version of this video, and this video is going to sound more like a review. I just don't want to call it a review because I've not finished playing the game, but the experience is so dope enough here that I can tell you about the game, and it may help you decide whether or not you want to play this game now or later. It's going to help you make a decision quick, alright? So, no spoilers. I'm just going to get into it. Enjoy this long-ass impression review of this game. Alright? Alright, let's go. Marvel Spider-Man, the PS4 game. It's looking, feeling, and it's playing pretty damn well. This is my impressions on the game. I've got about over 9.5 hours on the game. I've played through a lot of the story. Don't worry, I'm not trying to do any stories or side mission spoilers here, but I do need to talk about the game and how it works and how it operates, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably top 3 or maybe top 5 superhero games I've ever played in my life. I gotta let it marinate once I get more time into this game. And the another thing is, I do have open world fatigue. I talk about that a lot on this channel. I talk about it with Shadow of War. I was worried about it with God of War, and God of War actually was fine. And I'm gonna put the Spider-Man game in that category. I was fine. I didn't have a problem. In fact, the only time that I'm even mentioning that it's like the open world thing is because I'm having this conversation with you. Else, I didn't feel it. And I'm going to get into how this game helps that in a second. But I want to talk about the graphics. And of course, we're talking about New York City, baby. And I got to admit, it's about a 7 or 8 out of 10 when it comes to representing my city. I've been super spoiled. Shout out to The Division. Because The Division let me know that motherfuckers could do my city, they just not trying to do it all the way. Now, with that said, I understand how the world of Spider-Man is New York City, but it's not. But they do too much to make it New York City for it not to be there. A little bit more tighter than what it is. But it is serviceable. If you're from New York, you're going to enjoy it, right? So, give them the points. My favorite part about what they did, which I was surprised, was the High Line. They did the High Line. That was pretty dope. And I found the Avengers Tower. So moving on to the next thing with the graphics, the skies, the nightlife, the day, the dusk, the dawn, all that shit works. Blazing through the city, jumping from building to building, how that looks good. The NPCs on the ground, very, very, very serviceable. Just everything just looks pretty damn good for this open world web slinger game. So that is a go there. Graphically, the game was good. And I should point out to you guys, I am not playing on the PS4 Pro. I am playing on the OG PlayStation 4, the OG. So we're good there. Frame rate, no problem. I have yet to see it slow down. None of that garbage. Everything works smooth for me out the gate. And again, 9.5 hours. Moving along to the audio. Audio is fantastic everywhere except for 1.5 areas. And I still mean it's fantastic. The ambient sounds, the cracking through the city where it's crime happening, and the sirens and the helicopters, and you know, little things, little tidbits that let you know what's going on. But the score to this game is the fucking most amazing thing. I spoke to Uncle Rizza about it, how they was controlling the music based on, you know, well, not the music, how Spider-Man talks when he's in the air swinging versus just staying stable, and how the hell did they even know to do that. But the other thing that I notice is you get this theme like superhero, like you watching one of the movies in the universe situation every time you start swinging through the city. And that, my friends, is fucking dope. My G's, that shit is just so immersive. You don't know it's happening until you just like 6 or 7 hours in the game, when you're like, yo, are they doing this every time I start swinging? Especially, I don't know if it's towards the objective, but I feel like it's definitely towards the objective. So that alone is pretty dope. The campaign audio is pretty great, especially with the acting. We're talking actual movie level quality shit. And if we don't want to go that far ahead, let's dial it back. I'm talking about linear experience quality about what's going on. It's pretty fucking exciting to play this game as a Spider-Man fan, as a superhero fan, as a video game fan. That's what you want. The only other game that this comes close to in that regard, and I don't mean to bring it up, but I just want to tell you how dope this game is. The Batman Arkham series, which is the pinnacle. Everybody should be lining up to be behind them because that's who you want to inspire to be. So this game is on that level. I still put Batman up top. Don't hate me for that. Spider-Man all day. So where I say I take a little bit off, and don't go running with this, right? It's something specific to me. When I watch the clips, the E3 clips and everything else, the one thing I kept saying is there's not enough bang, there's not enough boom, there's not enough punchiness in those punches and kicks when I deliver a really hard punch or a really hard kick or a really tough move. I just felt like it should have been more of a boom and a bassy thing. Now mind you, I could be a little biased because that is in the Arkham game, but it's been in other games, so I don't want to hear that. It's just something that lets you know, like, it's like a visual representation that meets the audio because it does it visually, but the audio doesn't register. Now they do the thing where you deliver that last blow and you get that slow motion ish and a little blick in the thing, and we all know who made that very, very, very popular. And I love that because it lets me know that I just finished whipping everybody's ass, but it gives me like this satisfying, like, ultra type shit. You get what I'm saying? But I don't take away from it. It's just very noticeable because this is a combat game. This is, even though it's an open world, let's just call these games what they are. These particular games are fucking beat 'em ups. These are beat 'em ups. So I need that registration. It just helps me, right? Other than that, the game is fantastic. Don't look for the holes to then be like, oh, I ain't fucking with this. You're a dick, my G. You're a dick. Moving right along to gameplay. You got the main missions, you got the side missions, and you got mini games in that. The structure of all this keeps you in play. Now, I will say this. This is some of the things with open world games that contributes to my fatigue. It feels like there's too much. It feels like I have to do it. It feels like it needs to be done. Side missions do not include those little crime missions that are talking about. They all work. If you do these little side missions, if you do these little mini games, if you do the little crimes, you are rewarded with stuff that can help you buy new upgrades and weapons for your suits. In some situations, suits and stuff like that. It's pretty dope. You want to do them. You have fun doing them. They're challenging. I suggest spending about an hour or two just fighting crimes to get used to the Batman, to the Spider-Man's engine, and you're gonna see it does pay off in the longer game. In the longer game, it does pay off, especially when the enemies start getting better. Now, speaking of, I'll hold that for another thing. But like, you definitely want to do the side missions. They got the circuit board one. They got these DNA sliders. You know, they got things that you could do for the police. And then back to the main missions. You never not know where the main mission is. You never not know where the main mission is. Like, I had to say that twice because other games get that wrong. They do it. I don't know if they get it wrong or they do it intentionally, so that way you can like fall off and spend time elsewhere where you don't want to do. In this particular Spider-Man game, when you're done with the main game, I'm assuming, because I feel like this already, I'm gonna be riding around this city for way after what the story is, just doing little stuff and fighting, and doing little challenges. I saw right before I started to do this video, I had unlocked something that let me know that there were challenges in there, and I was a little worried about that. So it's pretty cool that that's in there. Another thing, there was a mission I did where I had to clear a rooftop or some shit, and I'm able to go back and go again to get a better score and get probably another token of some sort. And the tokens are important. That's how you unlock stuff for your character or your suits and stuff. The structure of this game, with how it handles mission types, is pretty good. I fully appreciate that. The campaign is basically a movie in an open world game. It plays off correctly. It plays off well. Those boss battles, those boss scenes, those epic scenes, The stealth needs a little bit work on, whatever, but like it just all feels like a Spider-Man movie experience. And in the open world game, that's what you want. That's what you want. That's how you do that. Because a lot of times these open world games, they're so dope with the content in it that they don't handle the story with the same kind of pizzazz. I don't know if that makes sense. The first game I'm going to point out like that is Watch Dogs, the first Watch Dogs. It got too great, too close to the end. A lot of people fell off. I stuck with it because it's an open world game and I'm usually used to that kind of crap. This is not the case here. If we're going into the mechanics of like swinging, I probably gonna go on a limb, and I'm sure someone's gonna fight me on that, but this is the best Spider-Man game swinging through the city experience to date. Period. There's no other experience with Spider-Man swinging through better than this, in my opinion. If there is one, point it out. I'll go check it. But I've played a lot of Spider-Man games. I don't think I played them all, but I played a lot of Spider-Man games. This is it. Even like when you do little stuff between like running around the building from left to right, going through fire escapes, to jefferson, the web poles and all that stuff. Like it's too dope. Like what you see on that camera it feels like how you think it feels. All right. The only game that I've played that kind of compares, and I don't want to go on record as saying it, but when I play Attack on Titan #1, not #2, and I'm using that ODM suit, yo, flying around in that suit always reminded me of like, yo, when I play Spider-Man, this shit better be like this. And I'm just gonna leave that like that. Wall crawling, dope. I have one little issue with the wall crawling, and I think I just gotta go in the settings and figure it out. The wall crawling sometimes can be a little janky for me, where it's like, you know, I'm trying to go down or to the left, and the way the camera angles is still using up to go up and down to go down and left to go left, instead of me using the right camera to aim where I want my character to go. It's doing some weirdness. So I'll figure that out. I think that's a me thing. I don't think that's a game thing. I think that's a me thing. If they have something in the controls that's going to help me with that after 9 hours in, that's cool, that's excellent. If not, I'll manage. It's not gotten me killed. The gadgets in the game, which I should leave for the combat part, but there's a lot of cool gadgets while you're fighting. And as Ramon pointed out to me, you're gonna need these gadgets. The deeper you get into the game, you're gonna need these gadgets to do what you do, and your suit powers. The gadgets of the suit powers are dope. It makes you feel like an upgraded Spider-Man. It makes you feel like a Tony Stark Spider-Man. It just helps. It helps. It's so dope how all this shit is just strung together. I mentioned suits. They're very generous with the suits. Even if you don't have the pre-order bonus, they're very generous with the suits. You just got to go look for those tokens and those things to help you unlock those suits, so you can quote afford them, and you'll have fun. Now, I have not dabbled on the suits enough, because I'm one of those players where the default stuff will get me through the game most times. So if I don't need to change, I'm not going to change. So I'm sorry I don't have nothing to report there. I'm using the white Spider-Man suit. I've not used even the pre-order suits just yet. I'll probably save that for when I come back around and do dumb shit. However, there's some pretty badass looking suits in this game. I gotta say, there's some nice suits. So you look into that. The level up system and the unlock system is pretty cool with the tokens and your skill points. Of course, this is here as well. You got a skill tree thing that you could do. I believe it's broken into 3 different sections, and combat, I guess defensive, and then like traversing type stuff, and you'll figure out your own tree. I'm sure you can unlock them all, but like I went heavy on combat, and it's been serving me very, very, very well, even to the point where I'm disarming people and making them pay, instead of just like disarming them and I get around to whipping their ass later. And this goes to the next part, which is the combat. Combat in this game feels very, very, very well. And again, the gadget play and the suits do play a role with the focus meter and everything like that. It does play a role. The better you understand it, the better you're going to be at fighting in this game. When you get to the higher enemies, and I'm going to keep it 1000 with you.
You okay?
I've died in this game an insane amount of times. Like, I don't think I've died this much in Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor combined, how many times I've already died in this Spider-Man game. And to be extra real, the first set of thugs, the first of this campaign's thugs, like, I've not seen some upgraded dude. I've not lost to a boss battle. I think I did take an L. I think I got my jaw twisted open one time by the first dude, but like, I died one time before him, right before I fought that dude, and it's like, yo, what the hell? So the counter system is one of the things that gets me in trouble with this game, because I'm expecting a physical counter in some situations, and I'm doing a body movement. I'm getting out of the way. It's more like an evade, and that thing was really doing me in, because I needed to adjust. And I got it good for about 3 hours. I wasn't dying no more. But then as you start upgrading, when those level 1 enemies, those entry level enemies, you know, you start running into a few more of those entry level enemies that are now level 2, level 3. And this is just me making that level up. And they were getting my ass. And then there's some new enemy types that were introduced. And, you know, I started taking a couple more L's that way. And I'm just like, damn, like, wow. And I can't help but compare it to the Batman engine about how I fight there and why I don't die so much in that game. And it just became the number one thing. Use your fucking gadgets. Use your gadgets, use your suit powers. This game is forcing you to do that. I'm very hard-headed when it comes to that. The fighting in this game is very challenging out the gate. So, you know, the counters and stuff as you would normally see it has to be respected in the way of this particular game, and I think that attention to detail is pretty dope on the developer's part. I believe it's Insomniac Games, excuse me if I'm wrong. And you know, I gotta just say, like, it's just been a very, very, very rewarding experience, you know, down to the campaign, down to the phone calls, you know, down to the chatter between, you know, me and certain NPCs and me with the police and me with other people, and even with your camaraderies. I love the little gadgets that I'm getting when I'm finding my book bag around town, and it's like little short stories, just like how, sorry to do this, I'm just trying to tell you how dope the game is. And Batman, one of the coolest things about Batman was finding those fucking audio clips. Now, there's not many of these here in this game, but there's little things like that that's just adding to the world. It's like fanfare, it's like fan service, you know what I'm saying? And for Batman, I actually learned a lot more about what was happening in that universe, because most Batman fans, the general public of Batman fans, only know what's on film. You get what I'm saying? So that was amazing, and they're doing something similar here that respects the film and respects the comic book people, in my personal opinion. So therefore, this game is a must purchase, a must own now, even though I didn't even get to the end. They're building up a particular character. It's like a movie. So again, this game, I am super happy with my purchase. A little bit in the beginning, I was feeling like, yo, damn, I should have waited. But the more I start to play, the better and better I feel about my purchase out the gate. And I am happy that I made this purchase. Even if I'm not able to play the rest of this game, whatever I experienced so far from someone who's been gaming as long as I have, this is a very quality experience, and I'm dope to see. I am very happy to see what they'll do with this in the near distant future. And that's it for today. If you're looking for any of those other games like the God of War and stuff, it's all on the channel. Trust me, you're gonna like it. I have a lot of positive things to say. I may do some more videos on Spider-Man, I don't know. But if you like what you heard so far and you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Stop playing with us. And to the homies out there, yo, drop a comment below so I can do something with it. Hashtag IGZ up so I know you in here. Alright, well, there you have it. Marvel Spider-Man PS4. Shit's a hit. Tell a friend and tell a friend that it's them again. Your boy Snow, Ignorant Gamers, and I'm gone. Peace, my G's.